Hi neighbor, welcome to this week's episode. Popular culture is taking over campus this weekend, and we're here to show off the best of the best right here on Hi Neighbor. We sit down with the Nerd Network and explore all of the fun things you can do at this year's NerdCon. Annie Jones gives us a taste of dedication to fandom through music on campus with the Appalachian Video Game Ensemble, and Callie Walton sits down with the Appalachian Gaming Club to find out more about Game Fest, also on campus this weekend. All of this and more coming up right here on Hi Neighbor. Hi neighbor. With comic books and their movies at the height of popularity, anime and manga coming into the mainstream, and video games building up to be a billion-dollar industry, it's a great time in history to be a nerd. Right here at App State, we have a club dedicated to showing love to all sorts of fandoms, genres, and what some would consider nerdy hobbies and interests. Today, we're here with two officers of the Nerd Network, President Ben Abbott and Social Chair Caitlin Halley. So thank you so much for joining me today on the show. And before we launch into the interview proper, I have to ask, both of you are in fantastic costumes today. Could you tell me a little bit about who you're dressed up as?
Well, thank you very much. I'm dressed up as Merle Highchurch, who is the Dwarven cleric on the Dungeons & Dragons podcast I listen to called The Adventure Zone.
And I am dressed up as Yuri Kotsky from Yuri on Ice, which is an anime, of course, but yeah.
Awesome. And this is what is known as cosplay, and we'll launch into that a little bit more later. But first and foremost, let's talk about Nerd Network. Could you tell me a little bit about the club?
Sure. So what Nerd Network is really it's a club for anybody who has nerdy hobbies or interests to get together and find other folks who have similar things that they like. I came to App State from out of state, and it was how I made my first friends on campus, and I think that we've done a good job of connecting people who might not have been friends otherwise, but are really close now.
Awesome. And so you would say that the goal is really to bring people together. What kind of events does Nerd Network do?
So Nerd Network, often we host game nights where we all get together and play games together. Of course, there's a gaming club on campus, but we are just nerdy folks having fun playing whatever games are there. We also host every year a cake buffet where folks make and bring nerdy cakes, and we just have a whole soiree together where it's sort of like a potluck, but for cake. And we've had some really insane creations that people bring.
Nice. And so those are just an example of some of the events you do, but the biggest one that you put on each year is NerdCon. Can you tell me a little bit about the event?
Yeah, so NerdCon is a free one-day convention that's entirely student-run and organized. We take volunteers every year, and it takes over the entire Plymouth Student Union all day from about 10 to 10 p.m. One Saturday out of the year. Okay.
And so how are Nerd Network and NerdCon connected? There's a connection there, but could you explain what that is?
Yeah, definitely. The Nerd Network is the club that puts it on. Aside from the normal club, we have a group called the NerdCon Committee, which meets every Wednesday in the spring and every other Wednesday in the fall. And we put together the convention and organize everything ourselves. It's mostly folks from the club. It's open to anyone, but since the Nerd Network's the people who put it on, that is who mainly runs it.
Okay. And at NerdCon, which is happening this weekend, what are some of the big attractions? What are some of the events that people can expect?
Well, some of our big events, like we are representing today, is there's going to be cosplay chess and a cosplay contest. So those who come in costume and those who do not are free to participate and enjoy. Cosplay chess is an event where we play a game of chess, but the chess pieces are people in costume. So there's a lot of fun sights to see when people take each other out as your favorite characters from comics and anime and movies.
Okay.
We'll also have a ton of panels and Game Fest as well. And then some local vendors are coming in and selling their things that they make and all of their wares.
Okay, and before we move on, in the cosplay chess, who's actually in control of the board? Is it one of the people who is a part of the chessboard, like the king who's the commander, or is it a tertiary party?
It's a tertiary party. We have two folks who actually play the game, and the board reenacts what's out, and we have a coordinator to help everybody know they're in the right spot.
That sounds really cool. Now, Caitlin, you mentioned earlier Game Fest, and I understand that Game Fest and NerdCon are actually partnering up this year and are sort of happening at the same time. Could you explain a bit more about that partnership and what's to come from that?
Yeah, absolutely. This year we're partnering with the Gaming Club here on campus, and we decided rather than having our two events separate this year, we wanted to, combine forces and like give a better like experience to everyone involved by combining both NerdCon and Game Fest at NerdCon.
Okay, so this is a pretty big event, and it's happening over the course of an entire day, taking over the entire union, and it's a cooperation between two different clubs. That sounds like a really intricate process. Could you tell me, like, what are some of the biggest challenges that are really part of organizing this event?
Oh, well, I can definitely speak on that after organizing it for 2 years. But yeah, coordinating with folks is always a big issue because while Game Fest is kind of our biggest coordinator this year, we also reach out to all the other nerdy clubs on campus, like the anime club, like the Quidditch team, and the video game ensemble, and we always try to get everybody together for one big day. And it's always an issue scheduling things and making sure that everybody's contacted. It's always easier if we have somebody in the club who knows those things, but the Nerd Network being the kind of umbrella club that it is, we usually have folks who are, also invested in other interests, and we can spread that along to help us with that. But also, it's just anything that you could think of with a normal con, because we have to get volunteers and panelists, and we have to schedule everything and make sure everything's going okay the day of.
And so cosplay, like we discussed it a little bit earlier, and those are two really impressive costumes that both of you are wearing. I'm curious if you could elaborate a little bit more on what cosplay is, like the challenges that come with that, and what sort of why people should give it a shot.
Well, for me, it was kind of my first foray into costuming was this, and it was something that I did with my friends who are the other characters from the Dungeons & Dragons party that this character is a part of. And one thing that, I learned from that experience and from bringing it to a convention for the first time is that there's always a sense of camaraderie and, I guess, noticing each other's successes and what they've done creatively when you bring your costume to a convention like NerdCon, because everybody else who's in costume has been through your same struggles and will appreciate everything that you've done and made for it. And even people who are not, but are appreciative of the source material that you're from, they'll want to take pictures with you and everything like that. And that was the big sell for me my first time.
Yeah, I've been cosplaying for a few years now, and I think I would describe cosplay as like just a way for you to express your love for characters just in like a physical form. And it's like Ben said, it's a great way to meet new people like who like the same show. And so it's just a really nice experience to be able to go to like cons and dress up as like a character you love and take pictures with people and just like share your love for the things that you're nerdy for.
Okay. So like that just sounds so much fun, and I like that idea of sort of being from a theater background of being in character and being able to be that character but in sort of a contemporary setting of sorts. And so I think that's just a really valuable opportunity for people to be out there and have a fun time trying something different. If there are plenty of people out there who I think this kind of event would be amazing for, but probably haven't been to a convention before or something like that, what would you say to those people who are sort of sitting on the fence about checking out NerdCon?
Well, first of all, I would say that you should come and try it because you never know what you like until you do. And also, I really would like to say that there are so many fun and a wide variety of things at NerdCon that are insanely fun for any nerdy person to be a part of. Even if you just come for a part of the convention and dip your toes in, I guarantee you can find something that you will love and enjoy, and that will make the entire day worth it for however little that you take part in it.
Nice.
I would say NerdCon's just a really good like beginner con for people to go to because we're kind of a smaller con. We're a little more local, but we still have the things on the smaller scale that all big cons will have. So it's like a good space for you to figure out what kind of con experiences that you like, so that if you do decide you want to go to more cons, bigger cons in Raleigh or Charlotte, you can kind of nitpick and choose what sort of events you like ahead of time.
So before we wrap up, you do have some guests coming in from outside of the local area to host panels and that kind of thing. Are there any big names or specific guests that you'd like to sort of give a shout out to?
Well, one group of guests that I can give a shout out to is we have a group of Star Wars cosplayers coming in. I believe they're the Mandalorian Mercs. So that's kind of the Boba Fett, Jango Fett characters, and they have a bunch of outfits for that. And we have someone in our club who cosplays Star Wars things, and he has a whole ton of groups that he brings up every year.
Awesome. All right. So for people who are interested in checking out the event, helping out, or getting involved for next year's convention, how can they get involved?
Well, we do have a website that we promote on all of our posters. You can also talk to us, the members of the Nerd Network Club, or come to us during our normal meetings and chat us up about it. And if you see us at the convention, we can definitely hook you up with that information as well.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you.
If you want to learn more about the Nerd Network, you can find them online on OrgSync by following the link below. Coming up, Annie Jones sits in with the Appalachian Video Games Ensemble to see fans' unique dedication to media through a different medium.
Appalachian State offers a club that is truly one of its kind. If you are into incredible music found in video games, Video Game Ensemble, or commonly known as VGE, is most definitely the club for you. The club is a group that connects their love for video games and music and turns it into a performative experience. All students are welcome no matter what your major is. Director Kelsey Parsons is going to tell me a little bit what it's like to conduct VGE. So Kelsey, how long has VGE been a part of Appalachian State's campus?
VGE has been a part of App for about 5 years now. This is actually my first year conducting, but before me we had Adam Campbell, who founded it. And once he left, I was just really enthralled with the ensemble, so I thought, hey, I'd love to direct it.
That is literally so awesome. So how do you guys choose the music that you put into your ensemble?
Well, first we have a little formula, and we usually like to have something that's a little darker, like we're playing a game literally called Dark Souls. We like to have something happy like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and then something high energy like Smash. So we have these types of games we want to play, and then what I really like to do is at the end of this semester we hand out note cards to the ensemble, and they actually vote on what their favorite games are. And we usually go with them, and then we have composition majors in the School of Music, and if they have games they're really interested in, sometimes they choose to and they arrange it themselves.
This club works hard all semester, but also they have so much fun gearing up for concerts they hold at the end of each term.
Even if you don't know the games, you get to hear the music, and then sometimes learning the music can sometimes bring you to actually play the game sometimes and introduce you to new games that you wouldn't have normally played.
What is your role in VGE?
I either play piano or synthesizer.
Great, and why do you love VGE?
If you love music and you love video games, this is the place for you.
We're a club, we love video games, and we love making music. Like, everybody is here because they love the same things. We literally just jam out to video game music. Like, to me and to most of the people in the ensemble, there's nothing not to like about it.
I love VGE because it's a great place for me to play my saxophone outside of just all my classes and the stresses of like my major, which isn't related to music at all.
I love VGE because it's a place where all people can be involved regardless of whether you play music or not, and that's why I've been it for all 4 years that I've been here.
VGE meets every Thursday in the Broyhill Music Building. You can find them in room 119. Just listen for the sounds of Super Smash Bros, and I promise you won't be far.
Hi neighbor, gaming has long been a pillar of dedication in the nerd community. Tabletop games such as Dungeons & Dragons were popular in the 80s, leading to the rise of the billion-dollar video game industry. Here at Appalachian State, we have a club made by gamers for gamers to explore gaming on all different formats. I have with me 2 officers in the club, President Trey Roberts and head of the tabletop division, Jack Fallon. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So can you tell me a little bit about what your club is?
So we have the club designed to create a community of gamers that can come together and play any game they want, regardless of race, religion, creed, faith, anything like that. Just a place where you don't have to worry about what people think about you, and you can just kind of play games and have fun with your friends.
Cool. So what are your roles with the club?
So as president, I take care of a lot of our outside resources. So companies like Tolly's game stores out in West Jefferson, as well as a couple other stores here in Boone. They help us with items and sponsorships and stuff like that. So I coordinate that, as well as making sure that the tasks that need to get done like this week for bigger events get done this week for bigger events.
Cool. What about you?
And for myself, I'm in charge of all of the games that take place not on a screen. So anything that's on a table, whether it's Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dungeons & Dragons or any sort of other thing like that, that is under my jurisdiction. So I help people set up games for that, and we have bi-weekly tabletop nights at Galileo's, and we play lots of just other games just as a community.
Awesome. So why did you guys join the club? Why is it important to you?
So I joined the club. I came to App in 2016, I think. Anyway, when I came to App, I didn't have a whole lot of friends up here, and I met a couple people in my major that I just got along with, and one of them was like, "Hey, I'm going to this thing this weekend or this afternoon. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "I ain't got nothing else to do. Let's do that." And so I became a member of the club, and then in time, I decided that when I came to App, I knew maybe 5 people here before I got here. Didn't like most of the ones that were here. And I made my friend group with App State Gaming, and so I wanted to make sure that all students coming in after me would have the same opportunity.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, mine's kind of the same story. It was like a see need, feel need type of deal where I really enjoyed coming to the gaming club, and I wanted to get involved in the running of the club to make sure that the same opportunity that was afforded to me to be able to make friends and play games in a safe environment, and it's not competitive and stuff like that, is afforded to other people down the line. And I want it to be the best way possible for them. So.
Yeah, sounds like great reasons. So how regularly do you meet, and what do those meetings look like?
So we meet every Thursday. This semester we're in Linville Falls in the Union above Cascades. Normally the meetings we have Magic the Gathering. There's a format called Commander. A lot of people play that. Also, Smash Ultimate came out not long ago, so that's been kind of where our console's been at.
Okay. And you've touched a little bit on some of the games you play, but can you tell me more?
Yeah, so Magic the Gathering is a card-based game. There's lands and stuff like that, and you play creatures and spells, and it's usually played like 1v1. Commander is a different format that uses 100 cards instead of 60, which is the normal. And then with that, there's normally a pot of like 4, so like 4 players playing.
It involves a lot more people. As opposed to just like a one-on-one matchup, it's everybody's king of the hill type,
okay.
trying to win, last man standing type.
What's your favorite game?
I think both our favorite games is definitely Magic.
Yeah.
We're huge Magic nerds.
Yeah, I was the tabletop division lead for a semester before I moved on up to VP and then Prez, and it's because of Magic. I've been playing since 2011, playing competitively since 2013. So.
Awesome. So do you guys compete against other schools or other clubs?
We don't compete against other schools, but we do have a competitive division of our club, and with that we will go to different events around the area. So we've been as far out as Columbus for nationals, and we've been to Richmond for 2 different Grand Prix, which are just really massive events.
Wow, so you've traveled all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you have any exciting events coming up?
Oh boy, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about them.
Yeah, so this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're holding Game Fest, which is our semesterly charity event. We're raising money for the Western Youth Network up here.
Yeah, so Game Fest is our semesterly event. We hold it every semester. We always do it for a charity. This year we've partnered with the Western Youth Network. I'm just trying to help kids here in Watauga County. It will be March 30th and 31st, so anybody that sees it can come out this afternoon and hang out. We'll have D&D one-shot, so if you've never played Dungeons & Dragons before, that's a great way to get into the game, is because we'll have a lot of DMs that know what they're doing that are more than happy to teach you how to play.
Yeah.
We'll also have other games like that, so D&D is a role-playing game. We'll also have Savage Worlds, Dungeon World, Call of Cthulhu, and Pathfinder as well.
Okay. So to be in the club, is there any experience required or any prior knowledge?
We accept all members from the ground up, so I
If you
have
want to
never
learn how to
played
play
a game.
You're in.
I've never played a game in my life, or I've been competing for 10 years. We have a place for you no matter what.
Awesome. So if someone was interested in joining the club, how should they go about doing that?
You can come out to any of our events. Like I said, we meet every Thursday. We also have a Facebook page, App State Gaming, as well as a Discord, which I don't know the link off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you have any other events throughout the semester or coming up next year?
Yes, so every other Tuesday we meet at Galileo's for a Magic Night.
So that's this coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll be at Galileo's from 5:36ish until about 9:30 or 10, and they basically let us have their whole like basement kind of like arcade area to just buy $2 tacos and play lots of Magic and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's a really good time.
Sounds fun. So is there anything else you'd like to add about the gaming club or gaming in general?
I think everyone should play games at some point because school is stressful. And it's a way to get away from that stress of every day of like, oh, I have projects due, oh, I have these things due. Sometimes it's nice to just sit down and play a game.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, oh, I played games as a kid, but I don't really want to play as a college student or an adult because that seems kind of lame, right? But it's really not. It stretches your mind in ways that you can't think of otherwise, and it's really just beneficial for you. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having
us.
If you would like to learn more about the Gaming Club, you can find them on OrgSync by following the link below. We'll be right back, right here on Hi Neighbor.
Thank you for joining us on this trip into nerddom here on Hi Neighbor.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at watchapptv.com and check out our YouTube channel, AppTV, for more content.
You can also check out all of the clubs featured on today's episode through the links below.
That's all we have for you today. Until next week.
Bye, neighbor.